reactor. Okay, so please note the instrumentation control means in some topic we have to focus more on the control of that industry. In some case we have to focus more on instrumentation. Okay, it depends, but normally the title of all are instrumentation control of some industry like chemical reactor or distillation tower, like that way. Okay. Okay, so we are going to discuss about instrumentation control of chemical reactor. So we already discussed about course outcome. So we already completed the first one. I think you will be able to prepare and demonstrate the instrumentation control diagram as per the ISA standard. But the interesting thing is we are indirectly continuing the first course outcome. In remaining topics, we are actually using the ISA diagrams as example. Okay, so now we are going to start the second course outcome, that is able to explain the instrumentation and instrumentation control and operation of chemical reactor, distillation tower, heat exchanger, dryer. That is remaining first module topics and second module. Okay. So again I am following the same textbook, BG Liptak Instrument Engineers Handbook, Process Control and Optimization, Volume 2, 4th edition. Now it is not CRC Press, it is changed actually, but I am following this same page this page number. Please note it. Okay. So this one is a symbol of chemical reactor. So this one is a flow sheet symbol or ISA symbol of chemical reactor. Chemical reactor is actually a closed vessel or a tower which is used to produce something, maybe liquid or gas, by using more than one reactants. The input feed may be a liquid or gas. So by properly mixing these gases, more than one gases or more than one liquid or both, we are producing either a liquid or gas. Okay. So actually inside that reactor some chemical reaction is happening. Some chemical reaction is happening, and that is our fourth module topic. Okay, so some chemical reaction is happening. So there are two different types of chemical reactions. One is known as exothermic reaction and second one is endothermic reaction. Exothermic reaction means the process, the chemical reaction will liberate energy, it will emit energy. So that one is exothermic reaction. Endothermic reaction means it will absorb energy. During the process it will absorb energy. So what is happening if it is an exothermic reaction? It is giving energy means the process temperature will increase. Okay, and what is happening if it is an endothermic reaction? The process temperature will decrease, will come down. So there are a number of variables, those are sensitive to the reactor temperature, process temperature. Okay. So if the temperature is changing means those variables will change. So the control of temperature is very important in chemical reactor. Second thing is pressure. Please note the thermodynamics will affect if either temperature or pressure will change. So if pressure is changing, definitely the reactor process will change. Okay. So please note in this particular topic we are focusing on how to control the temperature and how to control the pressure. Okay. So the first topic is temperature control. It is also known as reactor temperature control. Okay. So please note in chemical reactor the temperature or reactor temperature or reaction temperature is selected as the main controlled variable. It got more priority, means compared to pressure this one is the number one variable that we have to consider. Okay. Why it is so important? Please note, I told you a number of variables are sensitive to temperature. Those variables are, first one, the reaction rate. Okay, so reaction rate or the speed of performance of that chemical reactor. It is producing something. So that production rate, reaction rate will is sensitive to temperature. Second one, side reaction. There are some another dissolved gases or dissolved components may be there. So if you are producing something, if temperature is more, instead of producing a desired product, it will produce something else. Some byproducts may be produced. So side reaction is also very important. So we have to maintain the temperature, otherwise side reaction will happen. distribution of side product, that one is also very important, because with respect to the distribution of material in liquid, its boiling temperature will increase, some characteristics will change. So the distribution of side product is very important. Okay, and last one is polymerization. Polymerization will occur if temperature is either very high or very small. It depends upon the type of polymer. Okay, so the polymer molecular weight distribution will change if temperature is changed. So we have to maintain the temperature constant. That is very important. And the desired temperature gradient is 0.28 degrees Celsius. The allowable temperature variation from the set point or around the set point is 0.28 degrees Celsius. Okay. So please note, if you are designing a temperature controller, the most important word that you have to keep in mind is the reaction rate is highly nonlinear. Actually, it is a nonlinear process. But the advantage is around this set point, around the operating point, that one is linear. So we can apply the classical control modes like PID, etc. That is possible. Okay. So, but if temperature is deviated, if the temperature deviation is very low, then that nonlinearity will come into the picture. So, please remember that. Okay. So, we are going to discuss about the temperature controller. Okay. So, the first one is simple temperature control scheme. So, this one is a simple temperature control scheme. So, please know the DCS diagram of this simple temperature control scheme. The reaction is an exothermic reaction. This one is an exothermic reaction. Okay, so if it is exothermic reaction, definitely it will liberate, it will emit energy. So what is happening inside this reactor? Temperature will increase. Okay, so in order to maintain the balance, equilibrium inside the temperature, means chemical reactor, what will be the temperature added to this reactor? We have to remove the temperature. Due to exothermic reaction, temperature is emitted, so the reactor temperature is increasing. So that increase in temperature, that difference, that additional temperature must be removed from the reactor. So in order to remove the temperature, we need a cooling mechanism. So here we are using a heat transfer medium. Okay, so here we are using a heat transfer medium, and we are passing heat transfer medium through this shell. These outside part is, this column is nothing but shell. This inner rectangular part is actually a reactor, that column, and the outer one is a shell. So through shell, a heat transfer medium, that is coolant, is passing through this shell, and this output side is known as return. Okay, so that one is passed through the shell. So okay, now if you are passing the heat transfer medium simply through this one, that is not sufficient. With respect to the requirement, if more temperature is, if reaction is more, exothermic reaction will be more temperature is added to the reactor. So we have to remove large amount of heat energy from the reactor. So that temperature is measured. So this one is the temperature sensor. Okay, this symbol don't have any significance actually. This dotted means that one is behind the screen, that is not accessible. That is dotted line. It is not electrical signal. This is behind the screen. Okay, it's confusing actually. This is not electrical. This is behind the screen. So actually from this point it is starting. So you can see that this one is a capillary element, and here you can see a temperature transmitter. So by using capillary mechanism, temperature is measured, and that temperature is transferred into TIC by using an electrical signal. So this one is an electrical signal. Now TIC, with respect to this electrical signal, there is a set point that is understood. If you have a controller, definitely we have to give a set point. And if that line is not shown, means manually we are giving that set point. So you can see that TT is a field device, but TIC is a central control. Okay. So after receiving this feedback signal, TIC is giving a corrective action to this pneumatically actuated controller. This is a two-way valve. This one is a diaphragm actuator, and this one is a pneumatically actuated actuator. But we are giving an electrical signal. Here we have a pneumatic actuator. So definitely in I2P converter is that is understood. That one is not shown here. Is it okay? Because that is not so important. We can assume that if you are using a pneumatic actuator and if you are giving an electrical signal, definitely I2P converter is there. Without that, we can't operate that. Okay. The most important one is, so from this diagram, we can say this much thing. This one is an exothermic reaction, so it is liberating energy. So in order to remove that energy, a heat transfer medium is used whose flow rate is manipulated by using TIC with respect to the temperature measurement. More energy is liberated means temperature measurement is more, so TIC will give, TIC will try to increase the flow rate of heat transfer medium. I am not saying TIC is giving more control signal. I can't say at this particular point it is giving more control signal. TIC will try to increase the flow rate of heat transfer medium if temperature inside the temperature inside the reactor is very large. Okay, so I told you at this particular moment I can't say TIC is giving a very large control signal or very small control signal. So first thing, if you are using a normally closed valve, say for a time being assume that we are using a normally closed valve, NC valve we are using. So if there is no control signal, means if you are using a failed closed valve, means if the control signal is failed, definitely the valve is closed. Why we are using heat transfer medium? Because this one is an exothermic reaction, so that exothermic reaction is continuously increasing the reactor temperature. Okay, so this process is continuously going there, but due to some reason the control signal is failed. So if you are using a failed closed valve, normally closed valve, this valve is closed. So what will happen? The heat transfer medium is blocked here, means now it is stopped, it is not flowing through the shell. Okay, so exothermic reaction is happening there, so temperature is increasing and we are unable to remove that temperature using heat transfer medium because that one is closed due to some reason. So what will happen? After some time the temperature temperature is very low and that is sufficient to sufficient for some accidents or something. That is the problem if you are using a normally closed valve. So what we have to do? If the control signal is failed, we have to remove maximum heat energy, maximum coolant we have to transfer through this shell. So maximum energy it will absorb. If the control signal is lost, means we have to remove maximum heat energy that is possible. So we have to use normally open valve. Is it okay? Is it clear, everybody? So here we have to use a normally open valve because we are using we are handling an exothermic reaction. It is an endothermic reaction. Then we have to use normally closed valve. If it is endothermic reaction, okay. So please note, if it is exothermic reaction, we have to use normally open valve. Okay. So now we are going to select a controller. Okay. Okay. Anyway, it is normally open. So normally open means what? We have maximum flow rate. If this control valve is normally open, means we have maximum flow rate. If this is electrical signal, if you are giving 4 milliampere, or if there is no control signal, either if there is no control signal or if you are giving a low control signal, that is 4 milliampere, then this is normally open. Why? If you are giving a control signal, this valve will be closed. So if you are giving 4 milliampere, the valve is normally open. And if you are giving 20 milliampere, then the valve is closed. Okay. So please note, if we want to close, then we have to give 20 milliampere. If we want to open, then we have to give 4 milliampere. Is it clear? Now TIC. I am not going to discuss about the type control mode that we have to use. For a time being, the type of controller, whether we need a forward acting controller or reverse acting controller. What is forward acting controller? So draw a diagram. This is set point, this is SP. So we can select two regions. So which side is the positive error side? So this is measurement. So which side is positive, which side is negative? Negative error. So select this side, this particular side. Is it a positive error side or negative error side? Please note, error means E is equal to reference minus measurement. E equal to R minus C or R minus B if you are taking the feedback signal. So this SP means reference. This is actually reference and this is C. So this side you can see that C is greater than R, means it is negative error. So always please remember, if measurement is greater than the set point, error is negative, and if measurement is less than set point, error is positive. So this side we have negative error and this side we have positive error. Okay. So now consider this negative region, negative error region, this side. So here negative error means measurement is small, means temperature is small. Large amount of energy is liberated here. So exothermic reaction is small, so large amount of temperature is liberated. So at that point, what we have to do? Whether we need to increase the heat transfer medium, that is coolant, or whether we need to decrease the heat transfer medium. We need to increase the heat transfer medium, definitely, because heat energy liberated inside the reactor is small, so we have to remove that much energy, means we have to increase the flow rate of coolant, that is heat transfer medium. Here heat transfer medium is coolant and we need to increase the heat transfer medium. So please note, if temperature is more, error is negative, then we need to increase the heat transfer medium. By opening the control valve, we need to increase the heat transfer medium if error is negative or temperature is more. Okay, so I am continuing this word. So when we need to open the control valve, if error is negative, if we have negative error, or if temperature is large. If temperature is large, we have negative error, then we have to give 4 milliampere to open the control valve. So negative error means error is small, negative error means error is small, positive error means error is large. So for small error, negative error means for small error, we are giving small control output. So what type of controller is this one? Error point of view, this is forward acting. The reason is, if error is small, error is large means error will be positive. So if error is small, we require small control output. If error is positive, epsilon error positive, error is positive means temperature is small. If temperature is less than the set point, if temperature is small, error is positive, then we need to close the control valve. Then there is no need to remove the heat energy because temperature is small. So we can close the control valve by giving 20 milliampere. So if positive error means we need to close the control valve by increasing 20 milliampere. So for positive error 20 milliampere we have to give. For negative error we have to give 4 milliampere. So this is forward acting controller with respect to error. So this is forward acting controller. Okay. So please note, first we have to know the process. After knowing the process, we have to select the control valve. Then after selecting the control valve, we need to fix the type of controller, whether we require forward acting or reverse acting. Now, control mode. What type of control mode we have? Discontinuous or continuous? Yes, exactly, because temperature variation is not allowable. A continuous controller we have to use. Good answer. Next one, proportional control mode or PI control mode or PID control mode. So you can't say anything. The reason is we don't know anything about the temperature. So at that point also we have to know about the process. So normally temperature is the slowest variable. Normally. And here it is a chemical reaction. So the chemical reaction, that temperature process is the slow, very slow. So you have to use definitely a large Kp value. Large Kp value you have to use because this one is the slowest variable. So in order to increase the speed of rise, speed of response, we need to use large Kp value. First thing. Second thing, again this one is a thermal device. So the possibility of offset is large. offset will be large. So you have to use integral action. Definitely you have to use integral action. But the problem is, this one is the slowest variable. So if you are using large Ki value, the oscillation and the possibility of sustained oscillation will be there. So you have to use integral action, but you have to use small integral value or large time integral that you have to use. Ki is inversely proportional to Ti. Ki is equal to 1 by Ti. So you have to use small Ki or large Ti value that you have to use. And last thing is Kd. Whether we require Kd. Normally, differential part is used for damping purpose. To damp the response, differential part is used. So here damping is not so necessary, but damping have some another advantage. If small noise is present, it will use that noise for improving the speed of response. If the speed of response is small, if speed of response is large, then that one is a disadvantage. So here, if we want, we can use derivative action. If we want, but definitely we need to use proportional part. That is important. Whatever be the process, we need to use proportional control. But here we have to use large Kp value. Then we have to use integral part. And if we want, we can use derivative. So normally the chemical reactors are using PID controller. Is it okay? All of you? Okay. So now, whether this control scheme is acceptable or not. So that is a next question. Now, please note. Okay, we can remove all these things. Okay. So now, the heat transfer medium that is flowing like this way. Actually, it is not a tube. This one is a shell. This one is covered around the chemical reactor. So this is not a tube, but for convenience, we can consider this one is a tube. So we have a this type of movement. So at all point, it is absorbing heat energy. From this point, it is absorbing 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 energy, like that way. So what is happening? So say initially, this one is a coolant. Say this temperature is something around 10 degrees Celsius at this point. So if it is absorbing heat energy at this point, it will become 10.1. Now here it will become 10.2. Okay. So somewhere here it will be something around 15 degrees Celsius. So please note, actually we are giving this flow rate to maintain the heat transfer medium flow temperature at 10 degree. If it is not 10 degree, the controller will again gives very small control signal. It will try to maintain the temperature of heat transfer medium at 10 degree or effective heat transfer medium temperature at 10 degree, not actual effective. But what is happening here? Here it is 15 degree. Means this temperature is not sufficient to maintain the reactor temperature at the required value. Even if this 10 is sufficient, this 15 is not sufficient. So here, due to this, this is known as temperature gradient. The variation of temperature with respect to the movement of heat transfer medium, a variation temperature is occurred. It is known as temperature gradient. Means you can see localized temperature. At this point, one temperature point. At this point, another temperature point. It is known as localized temperature points. So here we have a localized temperature point. So for convenience, we can consider these two endpoints. At these two endpoints, the temperature is different. So we can consider it as a disturbance. First thing. Okay. Now second thing. Second thing is, we are passing heat transfer medium, or we are allowing this heat transfer medium to absorb heat energy. But the interesting thing is that heat absorption, if it is exothermic, and heat transmission, if it is endothermic, that is possible if it is able to maintain a minimum Reynolds number. Reynolds number is depending upon flow rate. If the Reynolds number is less than, so Reynolds number will decrease if the flow rate is small. And if the Reynolds number is small, the heat transaction will be ineffective. So for a effective heat transaction, we have to maintain the heat transfer, the Reynolds number above a particular point. So we have to maintain a large flow rate. So please note, the flow variation With respect to this control valve is not, so for explanation, not 0 to 1000 gallons per hour. Not that. It is something like 500 to 1000 or 800 to 1000, something like that. The minimum value is very large. A minimum flow rate, the minimum flow rate must be large for maintaining a minimum Reynolds number. Otherwise, the minimum Reynolds number will decrease. Okay, എന്തുകൊണ്ടാണ് അത് റെനോൾഡ്സ് നമ്പർ സഫീഷ്യൻ്റ് ആണെങ്കിൽ മാത്രമേ ഇഫക്റ്റീവ് ഹീറ്റ് ട്രാൻസാക്ഷൻ പോസിബിൾ ആവുള്ളൂ. ഓക്കെ, സോ പ്ലീസ് നോട്ട് ഹിയർ ദ റേഞ്ച് ഓഫ് ഓപ്പറേഷൻ ഈസ് സ്മോൾ, rangeability is small. Okay, so the rangeability is small, so that is very important. Rangeability is small, but the operating point is large, means 500 to 1000. So the operating point is small, but the range is small. So that we have to consider. So the rangeability is very important. In next class we will discuss about all these things. So please note, we need to maintain large flow rate. But what is happening if you are closing this control valve? If you are closing this control valve, we don't have, or we can't expect this 500,000. We can expect something around 0 to 1000. So how can we achieve this 500 to 1000 instead of 0 to 1000? That is first question. Second one. So think about two different situations. First situation, due to some reason, we are forced to change the flow rate from, say, some 100 to 900. Means the step size is large. Okay, step size is large. Means large load. We are experiencing large load. Okay. Due to some loading of it, this much amount is, this much step size is required, means some large load is happening there. Second one is, we are asked to, or the controller is asked to change the flow rate from some 300 to 400. Is it okay? So the question is, with respect to this large step size and with respect to this small step size, whether the process dynamics is same or not. What is process dynamic? For example, if it is a first order system, then with respect to the step, initially the response will be small, then it will respond. So the initial part is considers delay, this part is considers delay, and this one is the response time. Okay, so the question is whether these two are same with respect to the small step size and large step size or not. That we have to consider. And by considering these two and this Reynolds number, we are first modifying this simple temperature control scheme to a control scheme with recirculation.